As we say in Farsi, Har Ruzetan Noruz, Noruzetan Piruz, Eid Shama Mubarak. The sensors are paired with a mobile app, and once the hazard is detected, the cyclist will be notified of its location so they can avoid it and ride safely. Today is the last day for this bird count, and you can be a citizen scientist. A group of activists gathered this morning in North Phoenix to send a message to Arizona's 2 U.S. senators. They're concerned about climate change and how this is affecting Arizona. Liz Flores tells us what that message is and why now is the time for action. According to the American Lung Association, Phoenix ranks 5th for unhealthy ozone conditions. People across the world are finding ways to help the Ukrainian effort, whether it's through direct monetary support or volunteer efforts. Tamara Muir and her husband have lived in Tucson for more than 14 years, and this year they decided to invest in rooftop solar.
Our decision to install solar was based on 2 things. First, of course, was a desire to do our part to slow climate change. We all know, as has been mentioned, living in the desert, about the heat and the lack of water.
It's costly to install solar. Muir says the federal and state tax credits influenced her decision to go solar.
We'll be able to break even on the cost of our solar in less than 10 years.
Some state lawmakers and solar advocates hope more people will follow in Muir's footsteps. That's why they gathered in Senator Mark Kelly's hometown of Tucson last week to urge him and Senator Kyrsten Sinema to support climate investments that were part of President Joe Biden's Build Back Better Act. The act passed the House but has stalled. These investments would be about $550 billion and would grow Arizona's renewable energy sector. For State Representative Daniel Hernandez, he sees that money helping low-income families get access to green energy.
In a state that has more sunshine than almost any other state in the country and almost any other place in the world, it is unconscionable that we are not doing more to invest in ensuring that there is rooftop solar for as many Arizonans as possible.
Investing in solar is also one solution the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change recommends in their recent report.
This is so important to Arizona to fight climate change. It literally means whether we get to stay here.
In Tucson, for example, the days above 105 degrees are increasing. Tamara Muir gets this. She says for her, solar will help cut her electricity costs while she does her part to help slow climate change.
We've already waited too long, and every year the extreme heat and weather cost us even more.
Muir says the federal tax credit to get solar is a good incentive, and if Congress can get behind climate investments, that could reduce the cost of installing rooftop solar. That's according to the White House. John Mittman with Arizona Solar Energy Industries Association says incentives are only part of the solution. He says what really needs to happen is workforce training to meet the growing demand for clean energy jobs that these investments would bring.
And workforce training takes a long time and a lot of investment. In the absence of the legislation, it's just going to really continue to hamstring us in the future.
For now, Muir is excited about what rooftop solar will mean. Tucson Electric Power will pay for any excess energy, and when the panels are paid off, she won't have an electric bill. That's money, Muir says, she plans to use to buy an electric vehicle. In Tucson, Autriya Maneshni, Cronkite News. For many Iranians and other immigrants living in the U.S., Nowruz is still a sacred and beloved celebration.
It means the world to me. It shows how welcoming this community is.
That welcoming community was at the first ever Nowruz celebration at Phoenix City Hall Friday. The event was hosted by Councilwoman Yasamin Ansari. She's the first ever Iranian American elected to public office in Arizona. She says the celebration is meant to spotlight how diverse the immigrant community in Phoenix is.
I thought it was important to be able to not only celebrate this really special holiday, but also celebrate the contributions that immigrant communities have given so much to not only the city of Phoenix, but the United States.
Nowruz has been celebrated in Iran and all around the world for more than 3,000 years by 300 million people. Many Iranians start preparing for the new year weeks in advance to make sure they have all the symbols for the Hafseen table ready. The Hafseen is comprised of 7 symbols that begin with the letter S in Farsi. These symbols hold special meanings. For example, some of the symbols are sabze, or the grass on the table, symbolizing rebirth, sumac, symbolizing the color of sunshine, and seer, or garlic, symbolizing medicine. This celebration not only brought over 2,000 people together, but it also paves the way for the immigrant community to take ownership of their diverse identity.
The more people recognize that people from all over the place are in Phoenix and Arizona, and that the people need to take the time to understand what that means and embrace all the many different cultures that are here today. And I think that this is a great start.
As we say in Farsi, har ruzetan Nowruz, Nowruzetan Piruz, Eid Shoma Mubarak. In Phoenix, Autriya Maneshni, Cronkite News.
A sensor
that is the brain of the whole system.
To revolutionize biking safety,
we're going to see a change right here,
is coming out of an engineering lab at NAU. A dedicated team of students have been working on these sensors since last year.
Like on a weekly basis, we probably spend like 10 hours a week at least working on it.
The idea started back in 2018, when vehicles with safety technology were becoming popular. The engineering team decided to try similar technology on a bicycle.
So that's why we thought that would be a good opportunity for us to start a project that we study how do we connect those bicycles together to build a network for cyclists.
The students did hands-on work to figure out how to develop efficient sensors.
Also coming up with the layout for the system container was pretty fun because we had to figure out how to optimize it so it was space efficient and there's no like overheating with any of the components and stuff. So
figuring all this out is meant to make cycling more enjoyable and safer. Cycling in the U.S. isn't a common way to commute, but here in Flagstaff, about 8% of people use bikes to get around.
We kind of have this category of bicyclists that we call interested but concerned, where maybe they're interested in using a bike, but if they don't feel safe on the facility, they likely won't.
The bike sensors could help. Each sensor identifies potential hazards and detects bumps in the road.
So if there's a crack or like a stick that you run over, it has an X, Y, and Z axis. So however you run over it, those axes will change.
By running some initial tests, the students have found that
so this is a pretty rough road.
There are lots of cracks in the bike lanes in the Flagstaff area.
The sensors are paired with a mobile app, and once the hazard is detected, the cyclist will be notified of its location so they can avoid it and ride safely.
We're doing this project to show people where is a bump so the government or the clients will know there is a bump they need to fix, or there's a very big bump so you need to watch out.
Ho and his team hope that cycling becomes a safe and popular form of transportation with this technology.
If we can provide safer, informed cycling environment that the people are willing to use cycling as their daily transportation mode.
In Flagstaff, Autriya Maneshni, Cronkite News.